Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
This is Autoline Daily for Friday, September 3rd, 2010, and now the news. Uncle Sam really wants to see General Motors start selling stock so it can start recouping the $50 billion that it poured into the company. But the Wall Street Journal reports now the U.S. government is worried who might buy that stock. The official line is that federal officials worry about sovereign wealth funds buying up big chunks of the stock. Translation, that means financial institutions owned by foreign governments. But here's my Autoline insight. The feds are actually worried about the Chinese buying up big chunks of GM. The Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation, which has a joint venture with GM in China, has already indicated it would like to buy GM stock. Well, the last thing the feds need to see is taxpayer money bailing out GM just in time to see the Chinese take it over. If you think the government Motors nickname is bad, just wait until the American people get the idea in their heads that GM is actually a Chinese company. Speaking of GM, earlier this week I said the company would be smart to hire Fritz Henderson back to run the company. But now, that ain't gonna happen. According to the AP, Henderson will join Sunoco as a senior vice president and help spin off SunCoke Energy from the parent company next year. After that, Henderson will become chairman and CEO of SunCoke, which makes metallurgical coke, which is needed to make steel. 2 years ago, Chinese automaker BAIC acquired technology from Saab, and now it's set to roll out its first model based on that hardware. According to Gasgoo, the model, named the C60, is the first model BAIC ever developed on its own, though it's based on the Saab 9.3. The styling remains pretty much unchanged from the 9.3, and it uses the same powertrains. You know, a lot of older drivers complain bitterly about how high-intensity discharge headlamps cause so much glare for them. Well, here's a possible solution. According to a report from the technology website TechOn, a company called Ichiko Industries will start selling a special type of headlamp in Japan that continuously controls light output to avoid blinding other drivers. Called BAIC Premium, it was actually developed by French supplier Vallejo. It works by monitoring the road ahead. If it detects oncoming traffic, it adjusts movable light blockers inside the headlamps, shielding the other driver's eyes. It functions differently from automatic high beam systems in use today. They simply adjust from high beams to low, but BAIC Premium actively scans ahead and adjusts accordingly. That means the high beams can stay on without blinding other drivers. A week or so ago, Dodge released a couple of teaser shots of its redesigned Durango, and now the company's revealed its total SUV to the rest of the world. Dressed in black, it looks sinister in these photos. It's cleanly styled and features a glittering chrome grille. Under the hood, it has specs that look the same as the new Grand Cherokee. It's powered by either a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 or a 5.7-liter Hemi V8. No output numbers are given in the press release, suggesting they could be higher than the Jeeps. Besides the new platform and the brand new design, Dodge also seems to be showing off its new logo. Now that Ram truck has been spun off, the Ram's head logo went with it. Looks like Dodge gets a shield-shaped emblem with crosshairs. You know, I was kind of hoping they revive the Star of David logo that they used decades ago. The 2011 Durango goes on sale in the fourth quarter of this year. Mazda just unveiled its new design theme, one that's called Kodo, which translates into Soul of Motion. It was developed by the current head of Mazda's design division, Ikuo Maeda. Of course, he had to come up with a new design theme. That's because his predecessor, Lars Vandenacker, left him with Mazda's prior design theme called Nagare. But then Vandenacker went to Renault, and actually much of the Nagare design work was done by Franz von Holzhausen, who started at VW, moved to GM, where he did the Solstice concept car, ended up at Mazda to do the Nagare theme work, and then left for Tesla, where he did the Model S. And I mention all this just to show you how crazy the design end of this business can be. And it sure explains why Ikuo Maeda would want a new design theme. After all, who wants to head up a design department and have to promote someone else's design. Coming up next, I finally get to use one of my favorite quotes from the history books. It is time for You Said It.
Introducing Bridgestone's third generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
And now it's time for You Said It. Brian saw our story on how the Chevy Volt will be called the Wolanda in China and wrote in to say, "My Chinese co-workers, the ones with PhDs, suggest that your Wolanda doesn't follow pinyin, and they have no idea what the name is or what it would mean. Could you check with your source? It would be interesting to find out how they're translating the name." Okay, folks, I had no idea what Brian was referring to when he used the word pinyin. But that's why I love getting your letters. I learn from them all the time, and now I've learned that pinyin is the way of phonetically and alphabetically spelling out Chinese words so Westerners like me can read them. But Brian, I'm not surprised that your Chinese colleagues have no idea what Wolanda means. Imagine if they asked you to translate Camaro. What's Camaro mean? Or Camry? Or Grand Vitara? Some names just don't translate. Jeff Taylor writes in to ask, are any of the cars in the Acura line doing well? The styling is pretty horrid on all of their cars. Jeff? No, none of their cars sell very well. In fact, Audi now outsells Acura in passenger cars, and it's probably only a matter of time before it surpasses Acura in total sales. Mohammed Rafi wrote in to say, thanks for yet another great episode of Autoline Daily. You, as always, covered a lot of important and exciting news of the automotive world, and for that, we are all very thankful. Mohammed, thanks. Me and the crew here put in a lot of work doing this show, and it is so grateful to hear that you like it. TCB1468 on YouTube wants to know, what does CNG mean? Whew, an easy one. Compressed natural gas. And finally, Baja Busta wrote in to say, Ike for president. Now, you might think he's referring to Dwight Eisenhower, but fans of Autoline After Hours know he's referring to Ike, the dog, who makes frequent appearances on the show. I asked Ike if he would ever consider running for president, and he quoted William Tecumseh Sherman, who once famously said, if nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. Baja Busta, Ike ain't gonna run. And that brings us to the end of today's report. But first, a programming note. Here in the United States, Monday is a holiday. It's Labor Day. And like all other countries in the world who celebrate this day, we too celebrate Labor Day by not doing any labor. So have a great weekend, and we will see you again on Tuesday.